Galatians 5:22 through 25 is one of a couple verses, a couple passages that deals with the fruits of the Spirit. And how should we think of the fruits of the Spirit? How should we kind of approach them in this idea? And I think a lot of us do sort of think of these as a sort of ethic, a sort of way that people should approach life and should act in their daily life. And that is true. This is supposed to represent a new ethic. It's kind of in opposition to the way that the Ten Commandments was presented, where, here they're encouraging these positive actions, things like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness. Whereas with the Ten Commandments, it's kind of discouraging negative actions, do not kill, do not commit adultery, so on and so forth. And that is an interesting sort of representation, or sort of interesting difference between those two sorts of sets of ethics. But I think it's important here. The big thing to really take away is that these are all things that should be in our lives when we are Christians, and not as something that we're trying to do to appease God or anything like that, but just as a natural outflowing of the transformation that giving our lives to Christ creates. There's a reason why Paul is using the imagery of fruit in this situation. The idea is that if you have had the seed of the gospel planted in your heart and you've watered and nurtured it, you will eventually produce these as literally as fruit, and that this will be kind of the way to tell the difference between you and somebody who isn't. So I would encourage all of us to do our best to pursue after these and to do what we can to exemplify them, but also not to necessarily stress out about exemplifying all of them at any given time. The reality is that, similar to a tree, similar to a plant, we have to, it takes nurture, it takes time to to have this fruit bared and to produce it. We have to spend time watering, building ourselves up, and really, taking care of the work that Christ has begun in us in order to fully get to that point where we are indeed bearing the fruit that we are supposed to be bearing. So what I'm really saying here is, do not stress out if on a day that you are going out that you woke up and you stubbed your toe and it really hurts and you're not exactly as happy as you normally would be. Don't be walking around stressing out and thinking, man, I'm really disappointing God today because I'm not being joyful. No. Do what you can to live these ideas out, to enact them and to bear them in your life. But understand that this was something that will just come from taking time to nurture what Christ has already done within your heart. So with that, I would like to invite you all to join me for our last worship song today.